Hey, I'm Davis Smith, the Cracksmith, and today we're going to fix a stress crack in a poured concrete garage wall. Here is the crack. Okay, the first step is we got to rough up the wall a little bit. There's some paint on the concrete we need to remove, and we're going to use this HEPA shop vac attached to a diamond wheel grinder. Okay, we used the grinder and we got down to the aggregate, removed the paint so the epoxy can stick to it. And the next step will be to use our paste epoxy and affix the plastic ports to the wall. We're going to start with our plate of ports for easy access, and we're going to put some paste epoxy in another paper plate. Use a rubber spatula to mix the two parts together until we get a uniform gray color. And then we're going to start at the lowest point and take our ports, get a coat on the back. And on this crack, based on the width of it, we're going to put the ports probably about every 6 to 8 inches. Okay, so here is after the very first coat of paste epoxy, and we've got the plastic ports just stuck on about every 6 to 8 inches. And we've left, you can see we've left a spot, coated the back of it, and we've done that all the way up the wall. And the next step is I'm going to take the paste epoxy and I'm going to lightly cover each port with a thin layer just to go all the way around it so that there are no gaps for the urethane to come out when we're injecting. And here's what that looks like. We've got the single flat coat of paste epoxy, and then right over the base of all the ports we've given that a second coat so that there's no gaps where the urethane can come out when we inject it. And the next step is we're going to put fiber tape over this. Okay, we're going to take this fiber tape and we're going to cut it in pieces, and then we're going to make little holes for the ports, and we're going to do that all the way up the crack. So here's the way it appears after the fiber tape is put on. And we're ready to put another coat of thin paste epoxy. So here's what the repair looks like after the second coat of the paste epoxy. We're keeping it nice and flat to the wall, so if you want to paint over it, you won't be able to tell the repair is there. You can remove the plastic ports. But we're now ready for the third and final coat of the paste epoxy. So if the crack you're going to repair has an opening on the outside, you're going to want to make sure to fill that with the epoxy also, so that the urethane you inject doesn't come straight out. So after you have your last coat of epoxy on, you're going to want to take the plastic caps from the ports, put a little bit of epoxy on there, and then set that on top of the port so it's easily accessible when you're ready to cap it. So we don't know how much urethane that the crack is going to take to fill up all the way, So I'm going to get 2 cartridges ready. We'll put the mixers on, the nuts, and we'll get it prepared to start injecting. Okay, you're definitely going to need eye protection for this part because you're going to be injecting with a little bit of pressure. And if there are any pinholes or anything and it comes back out, you need some protection for your eyes. So we're ready to put the 2-part urethane in here and to start injecting. So it's a good thing we got 2 ready because 1 cartridge just got us up to here. And each time when you're injecting in, you'll know you've got it filled when it starts to come out in the port above it. And you want to keep on pressing because you don't want it to raise on its own and the urethane would be light and less dense. You want to keep on injecting all the way until it comes up and then just repeat that process all the way to the top. Okay, now the injection has been completed and this crack is completely sealed. And now we're going to remove the ports to make it look nice. So we've removed the plastic ports and now we're mixing up some more paste epoxy. I'm using the rubber spatula because it's going to make it look a lot nicer when we apply it on the wall. So if you're doing this for yourself or for a customer, you're definitely going to want this nice and flat so when it gets painted you can't even tell the crack was ever there. So this cracksmith job is completely done. And you've noticed we went through some extra steps, but that's so at the end, you never have to come back and do a warranty repair or repair something that's leaking again, and you get a nice flat surface so that it can be repainted and you can't even tell if it's ever been repaired. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, check us out at thecracksmith.com.